Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Cook With Me While I Give You Gist. Today I'll be making one of my minimal special jollof rice, but of course there'll be gist attached to it. This is a story of how I encountered some cultists. Like many of you who follow my stories know, I used to live in a very big hostel back in school. It was considered one of the biggest hostels in my time, so there were definitely different sets of people living there. Amongst them was like 5 or 6 guys living in a room together. You know the type of guys that lived in a room together, they don't go to class, you don't know who owns the room. Yeah, those kind of guys, they lived in my hostel, but downstairs under me. Normally, I usually see them when I'm going to class or going for fellowship or something, but we don't talk. I only say good morning. Sometimes they respond, sometimes they just do their thing, and I pass, I go my way. But this faithful day, I was in the room with my younger sister that was living with me at that time. I heard a knock on the door. I went to the door, opened it, and then I saw one of the guys standing in front of my door. Of course, I was surprised, wondering what he was doing in front of my door, considering we don't talk. He said hi and asked if he could come in. Still confused and wondering what he was doing here, I said okay. But as he was about to enter, he pulled his slippers, held it in his hand, and walked in with it. He entered, I locked the door, and then I offered him a seat in front of him. But he said no and that he would sit on the floor. So I turned to my sister, who was lying on the bed at that time in confusion, and then looked back at him, waiting to hear him say something. You know, I thought maybe he came over to discuss something with me. But he just stared back at me and asked if he could sit down here for a while. What could I have said at this point?